buildings. Mind you, this is a massive dam. We're led to believe that the dam itself would have either been constructed or at least partly constructed. No photos of this, only little puzzle pieces remaining. And here another little look, a different angle. And really this has all the characteristics of star forts. Anyone who's looked at star forts and the design of construction recognizes this. And yet here what we see is the same construction style as a star fort, but being utilized to harness energy or power from these falls, perhaps doing a lot more than this, but implying some sort of technology. And this is a machine. And we always talk about these buildings having another purpose, being machine-like. And here, we have a proof. We have the fingerprints of the same builders of the old world and this superior style of construction at the Niagara Falls, and in disrepair and disuse, a ruin at this point, and even seeming to be a ruin in the early photographs. Most of this has been decommissioned, and I hope to get to a video in which they actually blew it up and took video of it. And at the bare minimum, this is a machine involved in grand plumbing, we could say. And if star forts exist all over the world, we can also assume that these have something to do with water flow. In some cases, seeming like potential drainage, and in other cases, perhaps pressure valves. And this video, by the old Mudflood channel, takes it in many directions. Even Nikola Tesla, who was said to have created much of these works at Niagara Falls in the early time period, may have been a fake, and perhaps he never existed at all, and was just an actor playing the part of the narrative. Or he really was who he claimed to be, and at best, reverse engineered all these machines and technologies and antiquitech from the old world, and was given the credit. And in fact, this channel points out with the thousands of patents that Nikola Tesla had, he would have had to have invented one invention every 2 months. He attributes this to a similar story of a historical figure in the past who was said to have written 300 volumes of literature, which again is most certainly probably impossible. But moving on, another look, and again the blockwork of the dome fusing into what seems to be stone, and really at this early time period, this already seems like ruins. And what kind of structures, and most likely castle-like structures, existed prior to these photos. And here again, the absolute intricacy with this building, similar to star forts, which are often built out into the water. Who in their right mind would attempt to build something out in the water in a very, very early time period? Talk about complicating things when you could just at least build on the shore. But no, we see these artificial islands scattered all throughout our realm. Even our Statue of Liberty resting on an artificial island on a starboard, and finally an old Tartarian pedestal. And here another look at one of these buildings. This one dated 1905, so they say, and in complete ruins. This could have been anything at all. In 1905, according to the narrative, the power plant that would soon be in disuse. And of course, lately, everything tying back into tunnels. It looks like a little orb. And these tunnels are absolutely fascinating. We'll get into a nice look at one of these tunnels. And what we can see is absolute solid brick tunnels. Completely mind-blowing. And this is not the picture. I'll show you that in a minute. And we see 100% brick with a facade, a concrete facade over the top. And yet when we exit this tunnel and we look at the walls of the dam, we don't see brick. We see what looks like blockwork, what seems like natural stone, and this actually lending to the melted brick idea, or what an exposed brick may look like after being assaulted by some external super plasma heated event. Heated to such a high temperature, the red cooks out of it, and the bricks actually swell like a Rice Krispie, resembling stone. And if this assault keeps going, resembling mouth. And a very gracious video created. You can share it with this page too. It's available behind the falls. Present day, looks like it's about $500. And here's another puzzle piece. This is often referred to as a photo, and we could compare that to this. And here we can see that square building with what looks like a little barn type top, and the falls below it, and the elevator. And in earlier times, if it wasn't an elevator, at the very least, a stairwell. We can see a lot of windows and doors on the sides that have been blocked off. And here we go, that same building. And again, we can see them here looking much different. We can see the falls, and these buildings have been removed. In this very, very old time period, this is supposed to be new construction, and yet everything looking as if it has been diminished. And what we see over here on the left side, this old power generating station in ruins, I believe we can also see here in absolute ruins, the falls actually crashing over and destroying this part of the building. And if you look at the lines down here, a white line, and then a larger, thick gray line, and down here on this side, a white line at the base, and the same thick gray line above it. Absolutely mind-blowing and pretty obvious to me. It's as if this had all been contained, and there were buildings here, and everything was under control, and this thing was blasted by something, giving the impression that this is all stone. And in fact, I'm sure it looked exactly like this wall. And down here, at the base of the falls, it looked exactly like this building. And by the time this picture comes around,